What's going on, gang? Baltmatrix here, and today we are taking a look at Transformers Combiner Wars Skylynx. This figure is a larger figure. He is one of the torso figures, and, well, he doesn't look too bad in robot mode. He does come with two accessories that are these, like, tuning fork weapons that are able to be mounted on his wings, but other than that, the only other place to mount them is here on his legs, and I'm not even going to bother because it looks stupid. Skylynx in robot mode is somewhat posable. Not really, though, simply due to the fact that, well, he's kind of a beast in robot mode. Literally. If you remember the original Generation 1 figure, Skylynx in robot mode is actually the combination of two different robots. Sky, which is the top part of a shuttle, and Lynx, which is the bottom part of the shuttle, which we have the legs here. The top part forms this bird creature, and the bottom part forms a lynx, or a big cat. Can't do that with this figure, unfortunately. He is one solid figure, and posing him in robot mode is challenging. He does have posability in the legs and in the knees and swivels. He can open and close the front legs like that. Head does move up and down. It's supposed to peg into place right here where the tip of my finger is, but yeah, it doesn't stay there. Swivel at the bottom of the neck, hinge here at the back of the head, kind of middle of the neck, and that's about it. Oh, and his mouth does open and close. I mean, he looks cool. He does definitely look cool. There's a lot of Gen 1 love here, but overall, I'm not too thrilled with it. There are some problems. I don't like the aesthetic appearance of the wings being folded like this. The wings themselves are pretty loose and have a tendency to just fall backwards very easily. The head joints, swivel, and this joint right here out of the box were insanely tight, and it took a lot of brute force to get them to move. The neck also doesn't stay pegged in there very easily. And then we come to the legs, specifically the back legs. These back feet are on these little hinges that are controlled or tightened by these screws. I've tightened them as tight as they will go. And these things don't support the weight of the figure. They just collapse. So it looks like he's always sitting on his hind legs, or you have to pose it so that, well, he looks like he's always sitting on the back of his legs. No way getting around that, I guess. I gotta figure out how to tighten these better. Otherwise, I'm not too thrilled with him because, well, he's also hollow. You look straight through. It's a good attempt. I'm not going to say that he's a bad figure. He isn't. It's just not what I wanted out of a Skylynx. Skylynx's transformation is actually pretty interesting. To start off with, we are going to come to the back of the figure and take his tail, fold that up in between the rockets, and push it closed. Then come to the back legs, fold them, or fold the feet up, which they'll kind of do on their own, flip the legs in like that, and then fold them up underneath the rockets, and they'll just kind of slightly peg into place back there. And they're just going to be kibble back there. There's nothing we can do about that, unfortunately. For the head, first, just bring the head forward, grab the wings, flip them back, and they will peg into place very loosely, and then flip the wings in, and the blue wings will actually sit inside these grooves underneath the rockets, and they will keep the wings somewhat stationary. They don't work that well. Coming to the front of the figure, first thing we're going to do is take the legs and turn them such that the legs are pointing straight down with the feet pointing straight down. So turn them around, ratchet them down, and the ratchets on the legs are good. The ratchets in the top part of the leg and then the knee part of the leg are very good. Spread the legs open, come down here and grab this little gold section and pull it all the way out. And then the legs will flip around and the feet will fold down. So we want to get them around and down into place. Then we can close this section up. Then we can come down up to the head and unpeg it, flip it straight back, straighten out the neck, and peg the head into place. And here we have the Shuttle Mode, which, it's okay. The Shuttle Mode is just okay. I'm not thrilled with it because, well, there's a lot of kibble underneath, but I can forgive it because the original design of Skylynx had a lot of kibble underneath. And it's not bad. I'm not going to say it's great. I like Silverbolt a lot more, but it's not bad. Now, a lot of folks have asked me on Twitter if these wings in the back are removable and able to be flipped around, because a lot of folks don't like the swept wing. So yes, it is. Just very carefully pop them off and then peg them back on. So we can just easily turn them around, and personally, I think that looks worlds better. On his own, Skylynx isn't awful, but the other Combiner Wars torso parts are much better. I would highly recommend any of them before Skylynx. Skylynx isn't bad, he's just at the bottom of the barrel of a very full and excellent barrel. Transformation into torso mode is actually pretty darn easy. To start off with, we're going to grab the front of the shuttle, unpeg it, pull it all the way out until it pegs into place there at the front, and then just kind of lift it up and out of the way. And one thing we can do is grab the neck here and bend it so it just kind of is up like that, like he's going to be some kind of chicken shuttle. Then come back down the fuselage and push down and flip this section that's normally at the back all the way around and peg it into place. One thing you need to be aware of, this piece alone has been the bane of my existence because it comes off very easily during any parts of the transformation. It just pops right off, but getting it back on is pretty easy. Next, take the figure and turn him so that the front of the shuttle is pointing down. Open up the blue part where the front legs of the robot mode are and flip them out. And then we can close up this section again. Fold those leg bits down, straighten them out, and then grab the claw and flip it out, unpeg it at its ankle, and flip it all the way around and have it rest on the side. So we've got the combiner port exposed in the front. And we'll do that again for the other side. And yes, I realize there are exposed screw holes, which annoys me, but oh well. Next, for the torso, we are going to grab the sections that were the back legs of the robot mode and just flip them completely 180 from where they are. Actually, that's more like 720, I guess. And then fold the little blue claws down like that. So now we have the Combiner Wars or the Combiner Mode shoulders exposed. Finally, we'll come to the back where the wings are and grab the entire rear section and fold it forward. But before we do that, we actually need to flip out the blue wings and kind of fold the wings up and out of the way for temporarily. So grab that whole back section, fold it down, and snap it into place. But before you do that, grab the rear tail wing, fold it down so that you can then bring it down and snap it into the area between the gold, and then fold out the rear tail fins. Now, this is why those rear wings were swept forward, because, well, it doesn't look good in the combine mode. So we'll return them to the original position so that they look good in the combine mode, like that. Then grab the head of the combiner, turn it around, take the wings, fold them up, and point the blue bits to the top of the sky, or point them to the sky, and then we can put the weapons that we had earlier, and they will peg in here. More about the weapons when we get to the combine mode. So now that we've got the torso, let's go ahead and attach Wheeljack, Hound, Smokescreen, and Trailbreaker. And ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce unto you Combiner Wars Skyrain. Looks pretty good, actually. I kind of dig the way the combiner mode looks. It's not a bad looking combiner at all. And I love the kind of Thundercats-esque Combiner Wars head we've got going on in this mode. I like it a lot, kind of like a cat's lair head, really. It looks good. It honestly does look pretty darn good. Hound, Wheeljack, Trailbreaker, and Smokescreen work well with the Skylynx color scheme. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some issues with the figure. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But overall, it's a quality-looking combiner. One nifty thing you can do with the armed pitchforks is have him wield them both in robot mode in both hands, or you can have him wield both of them in one hand. Kind of reminds me of something from Tekkaman. I do like it, though. And here's a nice close-up of Skyrain's head. It works really well. I just wish you could close the mouth a little bit, but you can't. Oh well, it still looks really cool. There are a couple of issues that I want to bring to your attention, the first of which has to do with the combined mode's shoulders. So if you go to move one of the arms, the shoulders have a tendency to move. I have not found a way yet to lock them into place. It's almost like the little blue pieces, or the blue legs, or feet are supposed to lock into place, but they don't really do a good job of that. So whenever I go to move the arms, the shoulders move. And the legs are a little bit of the same, so you go to move the leg and things have a tendency to move and get out of place. The other issue I have is purely aesthetic, and that has to do with the giant shuttle head hanging off of his back. I would much prefer if the directions or something had it where the neck of the shuttle could fully and easily fold up into the back as opposed to just hanging off. That would be nice. And the wings just look silly. They really do just look silly where they are. So maybe another way to just get them out of the way or look a little bit better. But otherwise, functionally, he is perfectly fine. And come on, Hasbro, you had to expect that somebody was going to do this. Overall, Combiner Wars Skylynx isn't bad by any stretch, but he isn't really any good either. He's just completely middle of the road. And like all of the Wave 6 figures, he feels wholly unnecessary. We did not need a Combiner Wars Skylynx. I'm glad we got a Skylynx figure, but I would have liked something in the Ultra class that actually split into two components. Now, I realize that is the G1 fan in me speaking, but I don't think this figure is all that great or is going to make anyone really happy. That's just the old curmudgeon in me talking. You guys might love it. Me? I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite, but it's not a bad figure either. So gang, I hope you have enjoyed this video review. As always, I'm Baltmatrix, asking you to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.